There are a lot of planets out there, many more than we could actually study, and so we have to try and pick the best targets that might have life. And part of that criterion is, figuring out whether or not they are in what we call the habitable zone, the so-called Goldilocks zone, where they are far enough away from the star that they're not too close and have their oceans boil off, but still sufficiently close that they don't freeze. And the interesting thing about the habitable zone is it doesn't mean that anything inside it is habitable. It just increases the likelihood that the planet is habitable. And so that's the first place where we would go and search. But it's certainly possible that planets could be habitable on either side of that, just a lot less likely. So, when we first do our assessment of these planets, we'll try and prioritize them by picking the planets which we think are most likely to have life on them, that we see signs of, maybe a dense atmosphere with water vapor in it, or a glint, the kind of sparkle off the ocean, which we can potentially see over very, very long distances. So we'll do that assessment first, and then for the best candidates where we think life is most likely, we'll then go back and we'll take, even longer, more detailed observations, looking for the balance of gases in their atmospheres and seeing if we can see something that, again, the planet would be unlikely to produce, that's coming from some other source. And if we can identify that, then that gives us a chance to potentially see if life is in fact producing that change in the atmosphere that we didn't expect. We're learning more about the planets that orbit around other stars. And many of them are very strange and very unlike our own system, but many of them have a lot of things in common. And so I don't think that the Earth is in any way super unusual or unnatural, and that I think that we will find potentially habitable environments out there. And if there are potentially habitable environments, then there's no reason why life would not have formed on the planet. So I think the probability of life elsewhere is probably high. But I think that life is more likely to be the sort of simple life, I talk about, finding little green slime rather than little green men. That certainly on our own planet, the rise of multicellular life has been fairly recent, the things like you and me. But the microbial colonization of our planet started very early, almost as early as it could possibly have done, and has persisted for billions and billions of years. And so I don't think there's any reason why another planet with good conditions and liquid water couldn't also start life and have life colonize that planet.